What's going on, y'all? I'm back with another quick volume of Welcome to the Franchise here. Just want to tap back into the NBA playoffs here. The NBA playoffs have started. Of course, the first round is well underway, and it's been interesting to see. What I want to do is just talk a little bit about what I've been able to catch and what I've been seeing as far as the playoffs on the East Coast side from the first round. So with that being said, let me tap straight into it. We're trying to catch up with things here. So far I could say this from what I was able to see, what highlights and some full games that I was able to catch. First round of the playoffs is motherfucking lit this year. I mean, last year was fun to watch from the first and the second round. Also, me as a basketball fan starting to really tap in more with the NBA again, especially in the playoffs the last couple of years. I feel like the first and second round are the best parts of the playoffs. And then after that, the interest kind of dies down for me, especially with the finals, how the finals turned out last year, how the finals turned out the year before that. I think how the finals turned out the year before that also wasn't really as entertaining or exciting to really tap into for me. So it's really basically been the first and second round where I know I'm going to see the most entertaining basketball that I would like to see. Want to start off first in the East Coast. Of course, the best series out of the East Coast, Detroit versus New York. This shit has been fucking crazy. Going back and forth, back and forth. It feels like the series is like something like 2-2 right now, but the Knicks were able to edge it out and they have the 3-1 lead right now. Shit. Jalen Brunson is that motherfucking boy. I mean, we all know that. We got to start off there. Big body Brunson is that fucking boy. I mean, putting up the points. Of course, he's the heart and soul of the team. It's been fun to see, and it's been fun to see, how he's been really scoring all over Detroit, even when they give him a tough time. But what's even more impressive to see overall is that in basically all the games, at least the ones that I was able to watch, I feel like I've seen every game here, maybe one in bits and pieces and stuff, a little choppy. But in every game, it seems like the Knicks are down after Detroit goes on a big run to start the third quarter, or in the third quarter to start the fourth quarter, and then the Knicks come back on an even bigger run to come back and close out the game with a win. I think even the game that they lost, they came back on a big run and they had a chance to win, and this shit probably would have been over 4-0 by now if they would have pulled that one off the way things have gone. I don't know if I can say that definitively because it's still the fucking Knicks. Also, Detroit has been playing them tough in every single fucking game. But that shit has been real impressive, how the Knicks in basically every game have been storming back on a run in the fourth quarter. Like, yo, fuck that. All right, niggas want to blow us out in the third quarter? Cool. We're going to come back and show niggas how we do our work in the clutch or in the crunch time. So that shit has been fucking crazy to see. And then, Cat, he showed up in a couple games. In the last one, where they just won by one, he finally showed up in the fourth quarter. The big bodega showed up. So you got Big Body Brunson and the big bodega going at it. Both going 25 plus a piece. Of course, that's gonna bring some wins there. And also I want to say in this series overall on both sides, the physical play, the real defense, the offensive scoring, not just chucking up a bunch of threes or just pick and rolling motherfuckers to death, running around in circles to shoot a three. Motherfuckers is going to the basket. They trying to cross niggas up. They doing the mid-range. They dunking on each other. They dunking off the boards, and they doing interior passes in the paint. Yo, this shit is fun as fuck to see. It's been great to watch. I think everybody does, but you like a highly competitive spirited brand of basketball when you're watching it between the players. We know the regular season is basically just a highlight show, go through the motions, bunch of threes, having fun. Some of those games are fun to watch also, but to see this night in and night out in a series is definitely fun to see. We all love that shit. Kate Cunningham started off really bad with that first game, but throughout the rest of the series, he's been really good. A lot of people were saying some shit like he's probably the best player in the series. I ain't say that shit, even though I thought that in that first game. I say, okay, Cunningham going for 28. Detroit's going to win the first game. Then the Knicks going to win the second one, this, that, whatever. I said that this series is going to go 4-2, Knicks way. I think that's still how it could end out as well. But Kate Cunningham started off really cold, but he got in his rhythm, got in his groove. And he been crushing the whole series. Everyone else around him been doing their thing too. You seen guys like Jalen Duren put in work. Even the young boy Hollins putting in work. Malik Beasley been doing his thing. And Tobias Harris been crushing them too. You know, hitting some key shots and just in the flow of the game, always being a factor. Like I said, Malik Beasley hitting some key shots. But the motherfucker that's definitely been annoying to see, and he been fucking them up in this whole series. Also scoring. Dennis Schroeder, man. Dennis Schroeder been giving him a hard time this whole series also. So this is a great back and forth series. Like I said, it feels like it's 2-2. It feels like it's 2-2, but it's a 3-1 lead for the Knicks, and been good to see. But Cade Cunningham, he missed his shot, to really win the last game. He made a great move. He got space. He had an open look. And everybody, we all was in there and we was like, oh, yeah, it's money. At Detroit won. He's going to hit that shot. And he missed it. And, that's a big play right there. As a young star in this league who probably looks like he's going to be a superstar, you got to make them plays. You got to hit them shots. And I just think that in a lot of instances in this series, Detroit has shown a little bit of their youth. And then you got players on the Knicks who have experience being in the playoffs. You got Cat, who's been deep into the playoffs with the T-Wolves. You got Brunson, who's been in the playoffs with the Mavs and now in the playoffs with the Knicks as well. You got Mikal Bridges, who's been to a championship with the Suns. He's been to the playoffs with the Suns. You got Anunoby, who has a championship with the Raptors, and he's been to the playoffs with the Raptors. So it's a lot of experience on that roster where they're gonna edge out a younger team that's tough and could play any opponent well, looks like, but they're going to edge out a younger team like Detroit because they have that experience there. But the thing is here with the Knicks, don't blow that 3-1 lead. Don't blow that shit because we all know how New York sports go, especially with the fucking Knicks. They're definitely more than capable of doing that shit. They are capable of blowing this 3-1 lead. So they gotta hold on to this shit for real. And also, I want to talk about with that, Brunson coming off an injury. Yo, what the fuck? Like, when he came, this is probably the second or third game I say that I've seen him come back off an injury in the last month or two. In this playoffs here, I think this is the first game in this series. But come back from injury and niggas talking shit to him. Once niggas talk shit to him and he come back from an injury from the locker room, this motherfucker goes off. He goes berserk. And this is another time I'm seeing this, and it's like, yo, this motherfucker is crazy. That's why you big body Brunson, and you love to see that shit. But what this is also showing me again for another year in the playoffs that he's breaking down. His body is breaking down because everybody knows in the fourth quarter he's the guy that they're gonna go to, and they're gonna keep giving him the ball and let him do his work and try and score. He's the only guy that's gonna try and get a bucket, draw the foul, get to the free throw line, or they know that he's going to try and take a big three every single time instead of running an actual offense to get everyone else, everyone else involved who could also score as well. And he needs that help and support. And what I'm seeing from the offense with the Knicks, especially in the fourth quarter, is that they need another dude who could get an easy basket. They need another get-a-bucket guy. Mikal Bridges is a good scorer. OG Anunoby has shown he's a real good scorer throughout the season and in this playoffs as well. We know what Cat brings to the table. It's just sometimes his mindset, are you going to go hard today or are you going to fall back? Are you going to, Are you going to be the big bodega tonight or are you going to be the big perk? You know what I mean? There's some other guys on the squad that could contribute as well. But I think that they got to run more of an offense to get everyone involved because Jalen Brunson is breaking down. He might break down if you keep only going to him. And he's taking these fouls. He's hitting the deck hard. He's getting fouled when he's bringing the ball down. It's going to add up. You know what I mean? It's something that there may be an instance. God forbid, we don't like to see injuries here in no sport for no player. But God forbid he gets another injury later on in this round. In the game in this round, he can't come back. That's something that's hurting them that I've been seeing in this series They don't have another guy that could get an easy basket for them, an easy three, an easy two, can create easily, get guys off and making space and get an easy two, get an easy bucket. So I think that's going to be tough for them going on in the playoffs. Now to the next series, you got Orlando and Boston. I think has been kind of interesting from what I've been able to catch those games and pieces and the highlights. I mean, Orlando, they got the still one game like I thought. I thought they would at least still one, maybe two. Definitely one in this series against Boston. But from what I caught, even though it's 3-1 right now, this is still kind of entertaining. You see some good highlights. Pablo and Franz, again, that's all they got. They the only motherfuckers scoring, but you seeing them motherfuckers go hard, putting in great effort, even all the way to the end, fighting through and through, and competing, really competing with Boston. I think there was only one game where Boston, maybe two. Two games where Boston blew them out, one without Tatum. I'm not sure. I got to check back at that. But other than that, you can see Orlando in the last game they lost. I think they lost by like 1 or 2. They're still competing with a Boston team that's primed for a repeat. And honestly, I expect that to happen with how things are kind of looking in the West now. But even if things were looking stronger in the West, not saying they're looking weak, but we'll get to that in another volume. But they're still the top team to me to be primed for a repeat. Heat Cavs, that shit is a fucking joke. It's clipped. Nobody cares about that shit. Niggas lost by 50, 60 on that side last night. And then the other series in the East, nobody want to see the fucking Pacers and Bucks. Nobody wants to see that shit. I think all fans knew, like, yo, we're not paying attention to this shit. And you can see after the first two games, or after the first game of the series, the NBA know that shit too. They started just throwing that shit on NBA TV or throwing that shit on fucking UPN 9 or some shit like that, or whatever channels that they know everybody don't got this shit and don't really care. I'm not paying attention to that shit. I don't really like the brand of basketball that both those teams play. It is fun to watch Giannis play sometimes. The Pacers, I never really liked the Pacers at all in no era. It's not fun to watch them right now either, just to me. It's not the style of play I like to watch. But, the Bucks, I mean, it's clipped, and I feel really bad, really, really bad for Dame and Giannis. It's clipped. It's over for this whole experiment. It's over for this whole shit. It's time to blow that shit up. I feel especially bad for Dame because it just seems like he wanted to get traded from the Blazers to the Heat. He knew where he wanted to go. I guess the Blazers organization did not like that he wanted to leave, even though he couldn't keep progressing in the playoffs as far as, bringing all the wins he could to Portland, and they traded him somewhere he didn't want to go. Probably wasn't even on his mind to go there. And then it just seems like ever since he got there, from the moment he got there, everything went to fucking shit. And then for Giannis, he had his little thing where, I might be wanting to get out of here if this and that don't change. And he's still doing his numbers and putting up points, but he was getting injured and then shit just not working out either. And it's even worse now for Dame. You got, another injury. This year from you had one last year. Now you had a injury this year. You got back. Then you had a serious situation with the shoulder thrombosis thing or whatever it is. I'm not a fucking doctor. I don't know the technicals, right? But that's scary. And then you come back after that, again on the blood thinners or whatever, and now you get the fucking you get the worst injury that for all athletes in any sport that you don't want to hear. You pop your Achilles, it's over now, it's clipped. And it's like, fuck, now you got to make it back from that. You're late in your career, you're a legend, you're a veteran that everyone respects in this league, loves your game and everything, but now you got to pop the Achilles. This reminds me of a Kyrie situation now. It's kind of the same boat, and then Giannis is just out there in limbo like, I'm just going to stay here and keep losing this shit. And it's time to blow this shit up his clip. And for Giannis, it's time now to get to one of them organizations that are going to be in the run to compete for a championship. I mean, I could see the Lakers crazy asses because that's their brand. That's very on brand for them to make some crazy trade like that, especially for a Milwaukee Bucks center or some kind of center in a market that no one really wants to watch, and they're not winning any chips. Or I could see him being, yo, fuck it. trade me to Dallas. Trade me to Dallas if you get somebody else over there. If Kyrie stays, you know what I mean. Let me see what I could do for them over here. Because now at this point I can't see the Knicks trading Cat for him. You know what I mean. But who knows? And then for Dame, man, like I hate to see this and shit, but at this point now, go ahead and rehab. It's gonna take a minute. Get healthy. By the time you come back, yo, ride on the sunset. I guess your last couple of seasons you got left. Yo, go home. Take it back home. Go to Golden State. You and Steph and everyone else there could make one last big run and get you a chip, man. Get you a chip. I'm not mad at the motherfuckers that put in their work their whole career in the league. They deal with some injuries or shit went bad with the last team. They went in the playoffs that was supposed to, do some shit, and they get their Gary Payton ring where they still contributed and we knew what they was throughout a majority of the career, and they still contributed. Maybe they wasn't averaging 20-something and 10 and all that, whatever, but they got their little 10 to 16 and contributed and got their ring. I'm not mad at the Gary Payton type of route to get a ring with the Golden State Warriors for Dame Lillard, because what the fuck else is the alternative? So that's all I got there as far as how it's looking in the East in the playoffs. Second round is really what's going to get to the nitty-gritty, I think, in the East. So we'll see how that shapes out. But that's going to wrap up this quick volume of Welcome to Franchise out here. Y'all out there, be easy.